Hello. Welcome to Esoterica and Nonsense, a podcast where we discuss myths, legends, folk tales, fairy tales, supernatural phenomenon, and religions from around the world. I am your host, Annabelle, and I am sitting here in my tiny little office dreaming about the world. I've just been feeling so nostalgic today. I feel like the best song that sums up my vibe is that one Selena song. Is it called Dreaming? What's the name of that song? Late at night when all the world is sleeping, I stay up and think of you. You know what I mean? Because I'm dreaming of you tonight. Till tomorrow. It's the nostalgia. I love that song. When I hear that song, I'm transported back to being 5 years old in 1999 and just thinking about the world and my future. And I just feel so nostalgic today. Maybe because it's Sagittarius season. Happy Sagittarius season, everyone. I hope you're taking really good care of yourself. There are so many horrific things happening on planet Earth right now. And I really pray for every human being to take initiative in their life and to create some kind of beauty. If everyone dedicated their life to creating beauty, we would live in a paradise. So that's my dream. That's my wish. Just to get on some business, I have launched a whole bunch of new merchandise on my website. There's merchandise for the podcast. There's merchandise for some of my art. There's blankets, t-shirts, hoodies, tote bags, thermos, what are those Stanley cups that are all popular? Like giant thermoses. There's cute little glass iced coffee sipping cups. There are so many fun goodies. Check it out. It's in the description of this episode, and in the description of all episodes, there's a link to my merchandise shop. Thank you so much for listening and supporting to this podcast. Oh, Lord. Well, today, on a special request, we're going to talk about trolls, baby. Trolls. First of all, I think that trolls get a really bad rap and are really misunderstood. I think that there is a preconception with trolls being I don't know. I mean, we obviously use the verb trolling, which is a whole separate thing and obviously derives from the lore of trolls. But even though trolls are known as being mischievous and a little rough on the eyes, I think modern humanity has demonized them. But let's get into it. I'm going to tell a few fairy tales, but before I do that, I'm going to get into some generalized lore. We're going to learn about the etymology. We're going to learn the broad strokes. So, there are the peppers. Do you hear them barking? On cue, every time. They haven't been barking all day, but when I start recording, they show out. They're famous. I love that about them. So, what is a troll, you ask? What a great question. I'm so glad that you asked. A troll is a being of Nordic folklore, or let's just say Nordic culture, because some may argue that they are not a folklore at all and that they are in fact real. And they are described to dwell in isolated areas of rock, mountains, or caves. They're known to live together in small family units, and they are infamous for being rarely helpful to human beings, aka being a little bit mischievous and grumpy and sometimes even mean. And of course, as Scandinavian folklore matured, trolls became associated with being like non-Christian. I think this is like a really common theme around the world. Once one of the Abrahamic religions, dare I say, colonized their mindset, any belief, pre-Abrahamic religion became as like viewed as pagan, right? So the trolls are seen as non-Christian, therefore dangerous to humans. And that's why I really wanted to throw out this idea that like a lot of these quote unquote villains in folklore became villainized through the Christianization or Islamification, or I don't really know how you would conjugate that in the term of Judaism. But my point is that the major religions of earth have often been skeptical and or demonized ancient culture, aka pagan culture. Okay, that being said, some common themes with their depictions as trolls revolve around them being ugly. Sometimes they're depicted being very slow-witted or stupid, or sometimes they're depicted to look exactly like human beings with no obvious characteristic that would reveal them as a troll, which I think is really interesting. Obviously, when I think of trolls, I think of the classic like bridge troll, or like, a troll that guards some kind of opening. I feel like they're always like the doorkeeper. What's the word when you are like, I guess like a genius, right? Like the ancient Roman concept of genius is like a spirit that is a guardian of a certain space. And I feel like that's what I associate trolls with, right? Like watching over, watching over a bridge or a doorway or like an opening into a tree hole. Or I think of them being mischievous and stealing mittens. Shout out to Jan Brett. If you know, you know. Okay, so just some fun facts. I love getting into the etymology. The etymology is fascinating. And interestingly, the word troll, or I'm just going to guess troll, in Old Norse means fiend, demon, sometimes werewolf. And in other cases, they used it to mean Jotun, which is also a being of Germanic mythology. And they are kind of like deities, or depicted as dwarfs or elves. Interesting. I've never heard of this term. Also in Middle High German, the word troll meant fiend. And I think that's really funny. It is miserly. Like I understand the word fiend because I do think of trolls being little misers. And I think that's very, very cute. Okay, so before I start reading these fairy tales, I'm gonna read this really short poem. I guess. So this is technically like how do I say it? This is like a little excerpt from the Prose Edda book. And this is basically an encounter between an unnamed troll woman and this human man. And so allegedly this man was going through a forest late one evening, and a troll woman aggressively asked him who he was. And in the process, she describes herself. So this is like this little excerpt, which I think is so super cute. So she says, "Trolls call me Moon of Dwelling, Runir, Giant's Wealth Sucker, Storm Sun's Bale, Siri's Friendly Companion, Guardian of Corpse Fjord, Swallower of Heaven Wheel. What is a troll other than that?" I love that. I just love that. Guardian of Corpse Fjord. Oh, that's amazing. That is amazing. Okay, so that's just like a few little things I wanted to sprinkle to set the stage. I also have heard rumors, or not rumors, so I have heard quite a few things about trolls, and this just came to my mind. One of them is that they're known to turn to stone if they get in contact with sunlight. And some of them are thought of as almost like earth spirits, like they're like made out of trees or made out of rocks. Whereas other depictions that I've seen, they seem more like a dwarf or elf community. Like they're humanoid, but just smaller and like kind of like with grumpier features. But yeah, I think they're so super cute. And I do love this theme in Scandinavia and places like Iceland, like these like mystical little people who like live in nature. And specifically I love the trolls because I love that they're grumpy. They're just like grumpy little guys. I highly recommend, now that I'm thinking about this, there's this incredible Swedish film that if you haven't seen, you have to see. It's called Border. It's really intense and it's kind of dark, but it is an imagining of trolls living amongst humans in the modern day, and it is a wild ride. It's incredible. Okay. And with that, let's hear some troll stories. So this is a Dutch story, and it's called The Troll's Daughter. I'm going to have a sip of coffee really fast. Hold on. Va pues. Okay, and here is The Troll's Daughter. There was once a lad who went to look for a place. As he went along, he met a man who asked him where he was going. He told him his errand, and the stranger said, "Then you can serve me. I am just in want of a lad like you, and I will give you good wages, a bushel of money the first year, 2 the second year, and 3 the third year, for you must serve me 3 years, and obey me in everything, however strange it seems to you. You need not be afraid of taking service with me, for there is no danger in it if you only know how to obey." This is a red flag. Immediately, my first thoughts are red flag. This is a wild contract. He has not been specific about how much money he's offering. He simply said a bushel of money your first year, 2 the second, 3 the third. What is a bushel of money? I'm going to need more specifics. Is it a bushel of $100 bills? Is it a bushel of $1 bills? Also, blindly obeying. We're going to need some more context and detail. So my first thought is that this is looking pretty bad. But of course, the bargain was made. And the lad went home with the man to whom he had engaged himself. It was a strange place indeed, for he lived in a bank in the middle of the wild forest, and the lad saw there was no other person other than his master. The latter was a great troll and had marvelous power over both men and beasts. Oh my gosh. Okay, so he's working for a troll now. Honestly, this is amazing. Maybe I was too quick to judge. This little lad went on a walk and just got hired by a troll immediately. This is so fun. Okay, the next day, the lad had to begin his service. The first thing that the troll set him to was to feed all of the wild animals from the forest. These the troll had tied up, and there were both wolves and bears, deers and hares, which the troll had gathered in the stalls and folds in his stable down beneath the ground. And that stable was a mile long. The boy, however, accomplished all this work on that day, and the troll praised him and said it was very well done. The next morning, the troll said to him, "Today the animals are not to be fed. They don't get the like of that every day. You shall have leave to play about for a little until they are to be fed again." Then the troll said some words to him, which he did not understand, and with that the lad turned into a hare and ran out into the woods. What? Oh my gosh. Okay, so the troll just shape-shifted him. This is like some sorcery. He got plenty to run for. 2, for all the hunters aimed at him and tried to shoot him, and the dogs barked and ran after him wherever they got wind of him. He was the only animal that was left in the wood now, for the troll had tied up all the others, and every hunter in the whole country was eager to knock him over. But in this they met with no success. There was no dog that could overtake him, and no marksman that could hit him. They shot and shot at him, and he ran and he ran. It was quite an unquiet life, but in the long run he got used to it. When he saw that there was no danger in it, and it even amused him to befool all the hunters and dogs that were so eager after him. Thus, a whole year passed, and when it was over, the troll called him home, for he was now in his power like all the other animals. The troll then said some words to him which he did not understand, and the hare immediately became a human being again. "Well, how do you like to serve me?" said the troll, "and how do you like being a hare?" Wait, so this is amazing. It sounds like he did one day of work, and then he spent 364 days being a hare. That's not a bad job. But we just need to figure out how much a bushel of money is, because if you're going to pay me for being a hare, sign me up. I'm having a bite of a cookie right now. Excuse me. Okay. The lad replied that he liked it very well. He had never been able to go over the ground so quickly before. The troll then showed him the bushel of money that he had already earned, and the lad was well pleased to serve him for another year. The first day of the second year, the boy had the same work to do as on the previous one, namely to feed all the wild animals in the troll's stable. When he had done this, the troll again said some words to him, and with that he became a raven and flew high up into the air. This was delightful, the lad thought. He could go even faster now than when he was a hare, and the dogs could not come after him here. This was a great delight to him, but he soon found out that he was not to be left quite at peace, for all the marksmen and hunters who saw him aimed at him and fired away, for they had no other birds to shoot than himself, as the troll had tied up all the others. This, however, he also got used to, when he saw that they could never hit him, and in this way he flew about all that year, until the troll called him home again, said some strange words to him, and gave him his human shape once more. "Well, how did you like being a raven?" said the troll. "I liked it very well," said the lad, "for never in all my days have I been able to rise so high." That's what he said. The troll then showed him the 2 bushels of money which he had earned that year, and the lad was well content to remain in his service for 1 additional year. The next day he got his old task of feeding all the wild beasts. When this was done, there are the peppers. When this was done, the troll again said some words to him. And at these he turned into a fish and sprang into the river. He swam up and he swam down, and he thought it was pleasant to let himself drive with the stream. In this way he came right out into the sea and swam further and further out. At last he came to a glass palace, which stood at the bottom of the sea. Oh my God, what? He's in an undersea palace of glass? This is such a good story. I'm hooked. He could see into all the rooms and halls where everything was very grand. All the furniture was of white ivory, inlaid with gold and pearl. Oh my God, are you kidding me? There were soft rugs and cushions of all the colors of the rainbow, and beautiful carpets that looked like the finest moss, and the flowers and trees with curiously crooked branches, both green and yellow, white and red. And there were also little fountains which sprang up from the most beautiful snail shells and fell into bright mussel shells, and at the same time made a most delightful music which filled the whole palace. Shut the fuck up. This is my dream home. This is an underwater glass palace. Furniture with white ivory with inlay of gold and pearl. Incredible. Soft rugs and cushions of every color, carpets that look like the finest moss. Did you get that? The finest moss carpets? That's incredible. Filled with flowers and trees. This is unbelievable. The snail shell fountain cascading into bright mussel shells. Honestly, I would probably add an abalone feature. I think that was the only thing missing. But all in all, I'm giving this a 10 out of 10 review. Take notes, everyone, because the current state of interior design is just not it. All of this gray and beige, and it's just way too homogenous. We need some interior decoration, and this undersea palace is really doing it for me. Okay. The most beautiful thing of all, however, was a young girl who went about there all alone. She went about from one room to another, but did not seem to be happy with all the grandeur that she had about her. She walked in solitude and melancholy, and never even thought of looking at her own image in the polished glass walls that were on every side of her, although she was the prettiest creature anyone could wish to see. Oh yeah, so this guy's in love. This guy is in love. Are you kidding me? Can you imagine a beautiful underwater princess laying on a moss rug with a fountain of snail shells behind her? Like, you could never. The lad thought so too, while he swam round the palace and peeped from every side. What did he think? Oh, he thought that she was the most beautiful girl in the world. Yeah. Duh. Here indeed it would be better to be a man than such a poor dumb fish as I am now, said he to himself. If I could only remember the words that the troll says when he changes my shape, then perhaps I could help myself to become a man again. He swam and he pondered and he thought over this until he remembered the sound of what the troll said. And then he tried to say it himself. In a moment he stood in human form at the bottom of the sea. Well, I guess we're going to suspend our disbelief because how is he going to breathe? But whatever. He made haste then to enter the glass palace, and he went up to the young girl and he spoke to her. At first, he nearly frightened the life out of her. Yeah, dude, this is breaking and entering. Sorry. You're not invited, and this is not how it's done. This is not how you woo the princess. You don't just enter into the palace. But he'll probably succeed. He's a white guy. They always, you know what I mean? You know how these stories go. But honestly, this is what I'm suspecting here. I don't know what happens in this story, but I have a suspicion. He's probably going to get the girl. But because he turned himself into the human, he's probably not going to get paid from the troll, and there's going to be some kind of price to pay. You know what I'm saying? That's what I'm smelling here. But I'm not always right. Let's see what happens. Okay, at first he nearly frightened the life out of her. But he talked to her so kindly and explained how he had come down there, and that she soon recovered from her alarm. Yeah. He's probably blonde. She's probably just like, oh my God. And she was very pleased to have some company to relieve the terrible solitude that she lived in. Time passed so quickly for both of them that the youth, for now he was quite a young man and no longer a lad, forgot altogether how long he had been there. One day, the girl said to him that now it was close on the time when he must become a fish again. The troll would soon call him home, and he would have to go, but before that he must put on the shape of a fish, otherwise he could not pass through the sea alive. Before this, while he was staying down there, she had told him that she was the daughter of the same troll whom the youth had served, and he had shut her up there to keep her away from everyone. She had now devised a plan by which they could perhaps succeed in getting to see each other again and spending the rest of their lives together. But there was so much to attend to, and he must give careful heed to all she told him. Oh my God, she's a troll princess. Are you kidding me? Yeah, this guy scored. I want to marry a troll princess. She told him then that all the kings in the country round about were in debt to her father, the troll, and the king of a certain kingdom, the name of which she told him, was the first who had to pay. And if he could not do so at the time appointed, he would lose his head. And, she said, he cannot pay. I know that for certain. Now you must, first of all, give up your service with my father. The 3 years are past, and you are at liberty to go. You will go off with your 6 bushels of money to the kingdom that I have told you of, and there enter the service of the king. When the time comes near for his debt becoming due, you will be able to notice by his manner that he is ill at ease. You shall then say to him that you know well enough what it is that is weighing upon him. That is the debt which he owes to the troll and cannot pay, but that you can lend him the money. The amount is 6 bushels, just what you have. You shall, however, only lend to him on condition that you may accompany him when he goes to make the payment, and that you then have permission to run before him as a fool. When you arrive at the troll's abode, you must perform all kinds of foolish tricks, and see that you break a whole lot of his windows, and do all other damage that you can. My father will then get very angry, and as the king must answer for what his fool does, he will sentence him, even although he has paid his debt. either to answer 3 questions or to lose his life. The first question my father will ask will be, "Where is my daughter?" Then you shall step forward and answer, "She is at the bottom of the sea." He will then ask you whether you can recognize her, and to this you will answer, "Yes." Then he will bring forward a whole troop of women and cause them to pass before you, in order that you must pick out the one that you take for his daughter. You will not be able to recognize me at all, and therefore I will catch hold of you as I go past, so that you can notice it, and you must then make haste to catch me and hold me fast. You have then answered his first question. His next will be, "Where is my heart?" You shall then step forward and again answer, "It is in a fish." "Do you know that fish?" he will say, and you will again answer, "Yes." He will then cause all kinds of fish to come before you, and you shall choose between them. I shall take good care to keep by your side, and when the right fish comes, I will give you a little push. And with that, you will seize the fish and cut it up. Then all will be over with the troll. He will ask no more questions, and we shall be free to wed. Wait, why is his heart in a fish? Is there like I want to know more about this. This feels very cryptic and confusing, but I'm on board. This is fascinating. When the youth had got all these directions as to what he had to do when he got ashore, the next thing was to remember the words which the troll said when he changed him from a human into being an animal. But these words he had forgotten, and the girl did not know them either. Oh my God, this dude is an imbecile. You really don't remember the words? That's so lame. It's only been 1 year. And he said them to you, let's see, in the first year twice, in the second year twice, and in the third year he said it once. That's 5 times. Oh my God. Okay. The young man went about all day in despair, and he thought, but he could not remember what they sounded like. During the night he could not sleep, until towards morning he fell into a slumber. And all at once it flashed upon him what the troll used to say. He made haste to repeat the words, and at the same moment he became a fish again and slipped out into the sea. Immediately after this, he was called upon, and he swam through the sea up the river to where the troll stood on the bank, and he restored him into his human shape with the same words as before. "Well, how did you like being a fish?" asked the troll. "It was what he had liked best of all," said the youth, "and that was no lie, as everyone can guess." The troll then showed him the 3 bushels of money which he had earned during the past year. They stood beside the other 3, and all 6 now belonged to him. "Perhaps you will serve me for another year yet," said the troll, "and you will get 6 bushels of money for it. That makes 12 in all, and that's a pretty penny." "No," said the youth. He thought he had done enough, and was anxious to go some other place to serve, and to learn other people's ways, but he would perhaps come back to the troll some other time. The troll said that he was always welcome. He had served him faithfully for 3 years that they had agreed upon, and he could make no objections to his leaving now. Honestly, this is like the coolest job ever. You feed a bunch of animals for a day. Well, first of all, I don't love that the troll tied up all these animals, but you feed animals for 1 day a year, and then you get to live as a free animal in the wild. Like, this is the coolest job ever. You get paid a bunch of money, dude. Sign me up. The youth then got his 6 bushels of money, and with these he betook himself straight to the kingdom which his sweetheart had told him of. he got his money buried in a lonely spot close to the king's palace, and then he went in there and asked to be taken into service. He obtained his request and was taken on as a stableman to tend to the king's horses. Some time passed, and he noticed how the king always went about sorrowing and grieving, and was never glad or happy. One day the king came into the stable where there was no one present except the youth, who said straight out to him that with his majesty's permission he wished to ask him why he was so sorrowful. "It's of no use speaking about that," said the king. "You cannot help me at any rate." "You don't know about that," said the youth. "I know very well what it is that lies so heavy on your mind, and I know also of a plan to get the money paid." This was quite another case, and the king had more talk with the stableman, who said that he could easily lend the king the 6 bushels of money, but would only do it on condition that he should be allowed to accompany the king when he went to pay his debt, and that he should be dressed like the king's court fool and run before him. He would cause some trouble for which the king would be severely spoken to, but he would answer for it and no harm would befall him. The king gladly agreed to all that the youth proposed, and it was now high time for them to set out. When they came to the troll's dwelling, it was no longer in the bank, but on the top. Sorry. The troll's house was no longer on the bank of the river, but on the top of this there stood a large castle, which the youth had never seen before. The troll could, in fact, make it visible or invisible just as he pleased. And, knowing as much as he did of the troll's magic arts, the youth was not at all surprised at this. All the puppers are barking. When they came to the near side of the castle, which looked as if it was of pure glass, the youth ran on in front as the king's fool. He ran sometimes facing forwards and sometimes backwards. He stood sometimes on his head and sometimes on his feet, and he dashed in pieces so many of the troll's big glass windows and doors that it was something awful to see, and he overturned everything he could and made it a fearful disturbance. The troll came rushing out and was so angry and furious, and abused the king with all his might for bringing such a wretched fool with him, as he was sure that he could not pay the least bit of all the damage that had been done, when he could not even pay off his old debt. The fool, however, spoke up and said that he could do so quite easily, and the king then came forward with the 6 bushels of money which the youth had lent him. They were measured and found to be correct. This the troll had not reckoned on, but he could make no objection against it. The old debt was honestly paid, and the king got his bond back again. But there still remained all the damage that had been done that day, and the king had nothing with which to pay for this. The troll, therefore, sentenced the king either to answer 3 questions that he would put to him, or have his head taken off, as was agreed on in the old bond. There was nothing else to be done than to try to answer the troll's riddles. The fool then stationed himself just by the king's side, while the troll came forward with his questions. He first asked, "Where is my daughter?" The fool spoke up and said, "She is at the bottom of the sea." "How do you know that?" said the troll. "The little fish saw it," said the fool. "Would you know her?" said the troll. "Yes." "Bring her forward," said the fool. The troll made a whole crowd of women go past them, one after the other, but all these were nothing but shadows and deceptions. Amongst the very last was the troll's real daughter, who pinched the fool as she went past him to make him aware of her presence. He thereupon caught her round the waist and held her fast, and the troll had to admit that his first riddle was solved. Then the troll again asked, "Where is my heart?" "It's in a fish," said the fool. "Would you know that fish?" said the troll. "Yes, bring it forward," said the fool. Then all the fishes came swimming past them, and meanwhile the troll's daughter stood just by the youth's side. When at last the right fish came swimming along, she gave him a nudge, and he seized it at once, drove his knife into it, and split it open. He took the heart out of it and cut it through the middle. At the same moment, the troll fell dead and turned into pieces of flint. With that, all the bonds that the troll had bound were broken. All the wild beasts and birds which he had caught and hid under the ground were free now and dispersed themselves into the woods and into the air. The youth and his sweetheart entered the castle, which was now theirs, and held their wedding, and all the kings round about who had been in the troll's debt and were now out of it came to the wedding and saluted the youth as their emperor, and he ruled over them all and kept peace between them. And he lived in his castle with his beautiful empress in great joy and magnificence. And if they have not died since, they are living there to this day. And that is the story of the troll's daughter. Okay, I loved this story, but this is my one complaint, and this is like my common complaint with most stories. I just want to know more about the troll. Obviously, I don't love that he was tying up all these animals and hiding them underground, but like, he can shapeshift people. Why did he want this young guy to work for him for 3 years when he only did 3 days of labor in 3 years? Like, what was he doing? Like, how does he spend his time? Is he learning these magical spells as a kid from his troll mom? Was he like training to become a sorcerer? Or is this like what language was he speaking? Was he speaking a special troll language? I want to know details here. You know what I'm saying? There's not enough details. More details. Well, let's do one more, don't you think? This one I'm excited about because I feel like there's this, what's the word I'm looking for? There's this like stereotype of Scandinavian jokes like Ollie. Am I crazy? Aren't there like a bunch of like weird one-liners about Ollie and like his like escapades? I don't know. Maybe I'm crazy. But this is a story about the Terrible Ollie, the story of an honest Finn and the wicked troll. This is a Finnish tale. So that's why when it says an honest Finn, it refers to a person of Finland. And a wicked troll. So I'm excited. I'm excited about this wicked troll. But hear me out. I would love there to be more stories from the troll perspective, because I'm sure trolls are grumpy and mischievous. But humans are often, in my experience, the most wicked animals. So I would love to hear a story from... sorry, I'm repositioning this pillow. I would love to hear a story from a troll's perspective. Because what if it's a story about an honest troll and a wicked human? You know, I'm just throwing that out there. That's just my opinion. Do what you want with that. Okay, are you ready? I'm ready. I'm very excited. There once was a wicked, rich old troll who lived on a mountain that sloped down to a bay. A decent Finnish man, a farmer, lived on the opposite side of the bay. The farmer had 3 sons, and when the boys had reached manhood, he said to them one day, I should think it would shame you, 3 strong youths, that wicked old troll over there should live 1 year after year, and no one trouble him. We work hard like honest Finns, and we are as poor at the end of the year as at the beginning. That old troll with all his wickedness grows richer and richer. I tell you, if you boys had any real spirit, you'd take his riches from him and drive him away. I mean, okay. I don't know anything about like the local economy at this time, but is the troll a part of the local economy? Like, is he exploiting people? Like, where is he getting his money? Is it human money? Or like, I'm just kind of confused because why are they, this feels very baited. Like already the name of the story is an honest Finn and a wicked troll, but like, what makes him wicked? That he's rich? I mean, again, maybe he procured his wealth with questionable means, but I'm just going to need more details. I don't have enough details for me to feel like this is a justified lick. You know what I'm saying? But the story continues. Let's see. Okay, so his youngest son, whose name was Ollie, at once cried out, "Very well, father, I will steal from the wicked troll." But the 2 older sons, offended at Ollie's promptness, declared, "You will do no such thing. Don't forget your place in the family. You are the youngest, and we are not going to let you push us aside. Now, father, we too will go across the bay and rout out that old troll. Ollie may come with us if he likes and watch us while we do it." Ollie laughed and said, "All right," for he was used to his brothers treating him like a baby. So, in a few days, the 3 brothers walked around the bay and up the mountain and presented themselves at the troll's house. The troll and his old wife were both at home. They received the brothers with great civility. Yeah, okay, I feel like the troll and his old wife are nice. They're letting them come over. They're just living up on the mountain, being super cute and old. Like, I'm not getting anything damning about them. So far, I'm not really liking Ollie and his brothers, just saying. "You're the sons of the Finn who lives across the bay, aren't you?" the troll said. "I've watched you boys grow up. I'm certainly glad to see you, for I have 3 daughters who need husbands. Marry my daughters and you'll inherit my riches." What? Dude, this old troll couple is so nice. I love them. They better not fuck them over. I'm getting worried. The old troll made his offer in order to get the young men into his power. Oh, come on. "Be careful," Ollie whispered. But the brothers were too delighted at the prospect of inheriting the troll's riches so easily to pay any heed to Ollie's warning. Instead, they accepted the troll's offer at once. Fine, maybe I'm brand new, but I just want to trust the trolls. I like trolls. Sue me. Well, the old troll's wife made them a fine supper, and after supper the troll sent them to bed with his 3 daughters. But first he put red caps on the 3 youths and white caps on the 3 troll girls. He made a joke about the caps. "A red cap and a white cap in each bed," he said. Oh my God. The older brothers suspected nothing and soon fell asleep. Ollie, too, pretended to fall asleep, and when he was sure that none of the troll girls were still awake, he got up and quietly changed the caps. He put the white caps on himself and his brothers, and the red caps on the troll girls. Then he crept back into bed and waited. Presently, the old troll came over to the beds with a long knife in his hand. There was so little light in the room that he couldn't see the faces of the sleepers. but it was easy enough to distinguish the white caps from the red caps. With 3 swift blows, he cut off the heads under the red caps, thinking, of course, they were the heads of the 3 Finnish youths. Oh my God. This is dark, dude. He just beheaded his daughters just like that. This is nuts. This is nuts. Then he went back to bed with his old troll wife, and Ollie could hear them both chuckling and laughing. How traumatizing is that, though? Like, imagine if you're the troll daughter and your dad literally has you lay in bed with some dude and then, like, cuts his head off while you're sleeping, and you just wake up in a bed with a decapitated dude. Like, this is wild. This is fucking wild. Okay. After a time, they went soundly to sleep, as Ollie could tell from their deep, regular breathing and their loud snores. Ollie now roused his brothers and told them what had happened, and the 3 of them slipped quietly out of the troll house and hurried home to their father on the other side of the bay. After that, the older brothers no longer talked of despoiling the troll. They didn't care to try another encounter with him. He might have cut our heads off, they said, shuddering to think of the awful risk they had run. Ollie laughed at them. Come on, he kept saying to them day after day. Let's go across the bay to the trolls. We'll do no such thing, they told him. And you wouldn't suggest it either if you weren't so young and foolish. Well, Ollie announced at last, if you won't come with me, I'm going alone. I've heard that the troll has a horse with hairs of gold and silver, and I've decided I want that horse. See, like, even if the troll is, like, brutal and intense, I want to know more about the troll. Like, he and his old wife live on this mountain, and they have a horse with hairs of gold and silver. Like, I don't really care about Ollie and his brothers. I want to know about the troll. I'm fascinated with the troll. And, like, for all we know, maybe the troll's family was massacred by humans and he's traumatized. You know what I'm just saying. If I know humans, they often do horrifying things, and maybe the troll just kind of hates humans now. I'm not justifying murder. I'm just saying, like, maybe he's traumatized and he doesn't really have a lot of trust for humans, you know? And technically he's not wrong. Those boys went up there to rob him. So, I don't know. Just saying. Ollie, the boy's father said, I don't believe you ought to go to the troll's house. You know what your brothers say. That old troll is an awfully sly one. But Ollie only laughed. Goodbye, he called back as he waved his hand. When you see me again, I'll be riding the troll's horse. The troll wasn't home, but the old troll wife was there. When she saw Ollie, she thought to herself, mercy me, here's that Finnish boy again, the one that changed the caps. What shall I do? I must keep him here on some pretext or other until the troll comes home. So she pretended to be very glad to see him. Why, Ollie, she said, is that you? Come right in. She talked to him as long as she could, and when she could think of nothing more to say, she asked him, would he take the horse and water it at the lake? That will keep him busy, she thought to herself, and long before he gets back from the lake, the troll will be here. But Ollie, instead of leading the horse down to the lake, jumped on its back and galloped away. By the time the troll reached home, he was safely on the other side of the bay. When the troll heard from his wife what had happened, he went down to the shore and hallooed across the bay. Ollie! Oh, Ollie! Are you there? Ollie made a trumpet of his hands and called back, Yes, I am here. What do you want? Ollie, have you got my horse? Yes, I've got your horse, but it's my horse now. Ollie, Ollie, his father cried, you mustn't talk that way to the troll. You'll make him angry. And his brothers, looking with envy at the horse with gold and silver hairs, warned him sourly. You better be careful, young man, or the troll will get you yet. A few days later, Ollie announced, I think I'll go over and get the troll's money bag. His father tried to dissuade him. Don't be foolhardy, Ollie. Your brothers say that you have better not go to the troll house again. But Ollie only laughed and started gaily off as though he hadn't a fear in the world. Again he found the old troll wife alone. Mercy me, she thought to herself as she saw him coming. Here is that terrible Ollie again. Whatever shall I do? I mustn't let him off this time before the troll gets back. I must keep him right here with me in the house. So when he came in, she pretended that she was tired and that her back ached, and she asked him would he watch the bread in the oven while she rested a few moments on the bed. Okay, this lady, this is like feeling sexist to me. Because this troll wife's plan sucks. All of her plans are terrible to keep him occupied. And this just feels like veiled in sexism because I just don't buy it. Women are clever. And I assume that troll women are even more clever than human women. And this is just not, no. I can tell a man wrote this story. This is not feeling real. This is not ring true of what I know a troll woman stands for. Okay? I'm just putting that out there. So Ollie replies, certainly, I will watch the bread. So the old troll wife lay down on the bed and Ollie sat quietly in front of the oven. The troll wife was really tired and before she knew it, she fell asleep. Yeah. I get it. You think nothing of women. You think women are fucking idiots. I get it. Whoever wrote this, shame on you. I need some water. I need a water break to relieve my frustration about the patriarchy. Ha, thought Ollie. Here is my chance. Without disturbing the troll wife, he reached under the bed and pulled out the big money bag full of silver pieces. He threw it over his shoulder and he hurried home. He was measuring the money when he heard the troll hallooing across to him. Ollie! Oh, Ollie, are you there? Yes, Ollie shouted back. I'm here. What do you want? Ollie, have you got my money back? Yes, I've got your money bag, but it's my money bag now. Dude, Ollie's a little asshole. A few days later, Ollie said, do you know the troll has a beautiful coverlet woven of silk and gold? I think I'll go over and get it. Psh. Oh my God. Dude, Ollie is okay, this is crazy. I don't know where this story is going, but I just want to remind you that the name of this story is about the honest Finn, Ollie, and a wicked troll. Like, this is so fucked up. I'm like on the troll side right now. Maybe he should have beheaded these entitled little brothers. You know what I'm saying? Like, this is crazy. Okay. His father, as usual, protested, but Ollie laughed at him merrily and he went. Oh, actually, now that I'm looking at the title of the story is called Terrible Ollie, the story of an honest Finn and the wicked troll. Okay, so Ollie is terrible. It's not just me. At least we have that. Okay. Ollie took with him an auger and a can of water. Wait, pause. What's an auger again? I'm going to have to Google it. Auger. Oh, okay. An auger is a tool for boring holes in wood. It's like a screw, a giant screw tool to make a hole in wood. Okay, got it. I'm up to speed. I know exactly what that is. Okay, he took with him an auger and a can of water. He hid until it was dark. Then he climbed the roof of the troll's house and he bored a hole right over the bed. This is like some like Mission Impossible shit. When the troll and his wife went to sleep, he sprinkled some water on the coverlet and on their faces. The troll woke with a start. "I'm wet," he said. That's what she said. "And the bed's wet too." The old troll wife got up to change the covers. "The roof must be leaking," she said. "It's never leaked before. I supposed it was that last wind." She threw the wet coverlet up over the rafters to dry and put other covers on the bed. When she and the troll were again asleep, Ollie made a hole. He made the hole a little bigger. He reached in his hand and he got the coverlet from the rafters. The next morning, the troll hallooed across the bay. "Ollie, oh Ollie, are you there?" "Yes," Ollie shouted back. "I'm here. What do you want?" "Have you got my coverlet woven of silk and gold?" "Yes," Ollie yelled back. "I've got your coverlet, but it's my coverlet now." Dude, I would be so mad at this little bitch. I bet he's blonde too. I bet you money that Ollie is blonde. This is giving little blonde bitch boy energy. Am I right? Or am I right? I know, I'm a doctor too. A few days later, Ollie said, "There's still one thing in the troll's house that I think I ought to get. It's a golden bell. If I get that golden bell, then there will be nothing left that had better belong to an honest Finn." Oh my God. You're not even an honest Finn. You are lying left and right to these trolls, dude. Ooh. Excuse me. Yeah, dude, I'm sick of Ollie. I'm ready for some divine justice. It better come soon. Because I'm sick of this shit. So, of course, he went again to the troll's house, taking with him a saw and an auger. He hid until night, and when the troll and his wife were asleep, he cut a hole through the side of the house, through which he reached in his hand to get the golden bell. At the touch of his hand, the bell tinkled and woke up the troll. The troll jumped out of bed and grabbed Ollie's hand. Yes, grab his hand. Fuck this guy. "Ha! Ha!" he cried. "I've got you now, and this time you won't get away. Tell him, troll. Fucking tell him." Ollie didn't try to get away. He made no resistance while the troll dragged him into the house. "We'll eat him. That's what we'll do," the troll said to his wife. "Heat the oven at once. We'll roast him. Yes, now you're talking. Roast his ass." So the troll wife built a roaring fire in the oven. "He'll make a fine roast," the troll said, pinching Ollie's arms and legs. "I think we ought to invite the other troll folk to come and help us eat him. Suppose I just go over the mountain and gather them in. You can manage here without me. As soon as the oven is well heated, just take Ollie and slip him in and close the door, and by the time we come, he'll be done." Oh no. Fuck. I already know what's going to happen because the author of this story hates women. I'm pretty sure the troll wife is going to fuck it up. Damn it. Just to be clear, if this was a real life story, you best believe the troll wife isn't fucking it up. Women are so much more cunning, clever, and if they want to be, they can serve revenge just a little bit colder. So I don't buy this, but I didn't write this story. Very well. the troll wife said. "But don't be too long. He's young and tender, and he will roast quickly." Boom, roasted. So the troll went out to invite to the feast the troll folk who lived on the other side of the mountain, and Ollie was left alone with the troll wife. When the oven was well heated, she raked out the coals, and she said to Ollie, "Now then, my boy, sit in front of the oven with your back to the opening, and I will push you in nicely." You didn't tie him up or anything? Come on, you guys. That's not how you cook. That's not how you cook a young boy. Okay, Ollie pretended he didn't quite understand. He sat down first one way and then another, spreading himself out so large that he was too big for the oven door. "No, that way," the troll wife kept saying. "Hunch up a little, straight in the front door." "You show me how," Ollie begged. "Oh, come on, don't fall for it." She's going to fall for it. So the troll wife sat down before the oven directly in front of the opening. She hunched herself up very compactly with her chin on her knees and her arms around her legs. "Oh, that way," Ollie said, "so that you can just take hold of me and push me in and shut the door." As he spoke, he took hold of her and pushed her in and slammed the door. And that was the end of the old troll wife. Dude, this is so sad. I'm on the troll team on this story, dude. Ollie let her roast in the oven until she was done to a turn. Then he took her out and put her on the table, all ready for the feast. Then he filled the sack with straw and dressed the sack up in some of the old troll wife's clothes. He threw the dressed up sack on the bed, and just to glance at it, you'd suppose it was the troll wife asleep. Then Ollie took the golden bell and he went home. Well, presently the troll and all the troll folk from over the mountain came trooping in. "Yum, yum, it certainly smells good," they said as they got the first whiff from the big roast on the table. Not seasoned or anything, dude. I just want to throw that out there. They didn't put any seasoning. Ollie didn't put any seasoning on her. I can't imagine it smells good. I really can't, personally. "See," the troll said, pointing to the bed, "the old woman's asleep. Well, let her sleep. She's tired. We'll just sit down without her." Oh my God. So they set to and they feasted and feasted. This is so sad, dude. This reminds me of that one episode of South Park when Cartman feeds chili to that 8th grader. Do you remember that? That's what this is giving. "Ha! Ha!" said the troll. "This is the way to serve a troublesome young Finnish boy." Just then his knife struck something hard, and he looked down to see what it was. "Mercy me," he cried, "if here isn't one of the old woman's beads. What could that mean? You don't suppose the roast is not Ollie, after all, but in fact my wife? No, no, it can't be. This guy's an idiot." He got up and went over to the bed, and alas, what does he find? His own troll wife. Then he came back to the table, shaking his head sadly. "My friends," he said, "we've been eating the old woman herself. However, we've eaten so much of her that I suppose we might as well finish her." Shut the fuck up. That's so dark. That is so dark. Do your thing, Playboy. However you need to grieve, do whatever you need, dude. This is wild. So the troll folk sat all night feasting and drinking. At dawn, the troll went down to the water and hallooed across the bay. Ollie! Ollie! Are you there? Ollie, who was safely home, shouted back, Yes, I'm here. What do you want? Have you got my golden bell? Yes, I've got your golden bell, but it's my golden bell now. One more thing, Ollie. Did you roast my old woman? Your old woman? Ollie echoed. Look, is that she? Ollie pointed at the rising sun, which was coming up behind the troll. The troll turned and looked. He looked straight at the sun, and then, of course, he burst. And that was the end of him. Well, after that, no other troll ever dared settle on that side of the mountain. They were all too afraid of the terrible Ollie. Oh my God. That story was so sad. Ollie sucks, dude. Ollie truly is terrible. What a little prick. I'm heartbroken by this story. This was so fucked up. This was so royally fucked up. I'm on the troll team on this one. I'm on the troll team. Well, if you grew up hearing stories about trolls, please write in to esotericaandnonsense@gmail.com. I would love to hear the stories that you heard growing up. I would love to hear supernatural stories, stories about aliens. Feel free to just write me an email. I would love to read your emails. I would love to read the emails on the podcast. Please write in. I would absolutely love that. Please check out my merch on my merch link, which is in the show notes. Thank you so much for listening to the podcast. You are fantastic. We need more fun, kind human beings on earth who aren't murdering each other and roasting each other in ovens. Thank you so much for being kind. Thank you so much for listening to the podcast. I'm sending you a big hug. Over and out, baby.